The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. Jesus came to a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. She had a sister called Mary, who sat down at the Lord's feet and listened to him speaking. Now Martha, who was distracted with all the serving, said, "Lord, do you not care that my sister is leaving me to do the serving all by myself? Please tell her to help me." But the Lord answered, "Martha, Martha," he said, "you worry and fret about so many things, and yet few are needed. Indeed, only one. It is Mary who has chosen the better part. It is not to be taken from her." Gospel of the Lord. Today we have Jesus giving us a lesson of good living, so to say. How to live our lives in giving service to others, in showing hospitality, but at the same time watching it. Not to fret on things that are not necessary. We had the first reading in the book of Genesis. Abraham was disturbed during his siesta by visitors, and yet he went out of his way to welcome them, give them food and give them hospitality. The generous way of treating visitors, of treating people, foreigners, to your home. But the visit that Jesus paid to Martha and Mary, I imagined myself Jesus coming today, living for a while, a little while, with us, here and now, in this time of history, in the world that we live, in the families that we live, in the work that we do, in the business that we do, in the fretting of unnecessary things, in learning from here to there, to make things meet, to earn our living, worrying all the time that we don't have enough and that we need more and more. In this consumistic society that we live in, imagine Jesus here and living with us for a while. What would he tell us? Would he tell us the same words that he said to Martha? "Martha, Martha, you worry so much about things that are not necessary in the world." And yet we know that we cannot do without work, cannot do without living this way of living, so to say. But Jesus did not rebuke Martha for not coming to hear his word as Mary had chosen. He rebuked her in a very polite and respectful way, but he did not condemn her outrightly. "Listen, what you are doing is wrong this evening. You should stop doing it. Leave everything. Come here." Why? First of all, because he was a human being. He wanted to eat at lunchtime too. He would be hungry. And he had an entourage of disciples with him. They wanted to eat at the end. So he was not only telling, "Listen, come, leave everything, hear the word of God, and you will be filled, and you don't need to eat." No, he wanted to eat. His disciples wanted to eat. So he blessed also what Martha was doing. He has prepared meals for us. But remember that Maria chose the best. That Maria is living her priorities right. So this is the lesson that we receive today of good living. All things that God has given us are good and beautiful. And we need them, and we should use them to our best of our living. We should use well our money, we should use well our work, we should try to work, but diligently and with care, not overdoing it. We should relax, we should have our free time, we should receive people to welcome them, as Abram has welcomed in a very hospitable way the strangers that came to his room, to his house. This is what Jesus is telling us. Put your priorities right. He did not condemn Martha for her activity, for preparing food. But he said, see that you don't overdo it. And there is a way of balancing. It is not easy to balance a life. Jesus was the perfect personality. He balanced his life. He showed the good living of life, that not overdoing in anything. So we do not need, we cannot overdo it in work, in leisure, in pleasure, in anything. The Word of God is important for us to hear. The Word of God is important for us to reflect upon and to guide us. And so we need to cut a balance in our life and to live the perfect personality that Jesus told us to live. This is the way of going. This is the way of living in our lives. Let's read together the prayer that we have and on the screens. Gracious God, I am so often busy with the task of everyday life that I forget to listen to you. Teach me to keep my word in perspective and to go about my work with an open and generous heart. Let me extend gracious hospitality to all who come into my life this day and every day